Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got some wine for you. This is the 2019 Josmeyer Le Fromenteau Pinot Gris from Alsace. This is part of the February 2024 Somm Wine Club box. Now Josmeyer is run by the Meyer family and was started, the formal winery anyway, in the 1960s by Hubert Meyer. He named the winery Josmeyer, taking the first three letters from his father's name, which was Joseph, to make Josmeyer. And the winery had been in existence, the estate had been in existence since the 1850s and in the family producing wine, but not as a truly commercial operation. That was only started by Hubert Meyer in the 60s. They were, it was passed on to his son Josmeyer, who was the one that really kind of took Josmeyer international, gave it the global recognition. At one point, these wines were served the French Navy. He was very focused on making sure that these wines reached other parts of the world, and was a very forward-thinking and much-loved winemaker and Alsatian representative. Now his daughters, Celine and Isabel, are in charge of the winery, and they are continuing their father's work. This is, like I said, one of the most forward-thinking and prestigious wineries in Alsace. They've been farming organically since the 90s. They got their organic and biodynamic certification in 2004, and this in a time when a lot of other producers were not thinking that far ahead and in that kind of way. So a true kind of trailblazer in terms of the wines and the region and the thought process going into everything. At the same time, it was also one of the only Alsatian producers that was focused almost exclusively on making dry wines. So some Alsatian wines, especially Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, Muscat, can be off-dry. They can have a little bit of residual sugar. These wines do not. These are dry wines and have always been that way. That was really a staple of Josmeyer's production, and like I said, his daughters have continued that effort. So the Le Fromenteau is part of their artist series. The labels change every 3 years, and they're based around kind of the impressions of the wine. Le Fromenteau is the historic synonym for Pinot Gris, specifically in Champagne, but also other parts of northern France. And so they've named it Le Fromenteau as a kind of homage to the old style Pinot Gris, or the history of the grape variety in the region. So Alsatian Pinot Gris, coming from alluvial soil in 12 different parcels around the winery in the towns of Turkheim, Wettelsheim, and Winsenheim. And the winery is just in Winsenheim, just outside of Colmar, which is right in the center of the Haute Rhine in Alsace. This wine is intoxicating. It has, it's alcohol, so that part is intoxicating, but the smell is what I'm actually talking about. It has this like density of aromas. It almost feels like a supernova. It's like things are very tightly packed and they're just waiting to explode outwards. There is ripe apple, ripe pear. There is a nuttiness and a spice component to this. It almost tastes like or smells like a crumble, like a apple or pear crumble, where you've got toasted cereal grains, you've got nuts, you've got spices, and all of these things are just a little bit shy. And then as this wine opens up, you'll see more of that characteristic, more of those aromatics start to jump out of you. Yeah, there's toasted nuts. There is a little bit of this kind of flinty, stony, almost smoky-ish kind of character to it. But it is a little bit shy right now. Let's see how it tastes. massive textural kind of oomph behind this wine. As soon as you get it into your mouth, it just like rounds out, it coats every inch of the inside of your mouth. It has so much texture and body. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about when I say that a wine is round, put it in your mouth and just feel the shape of it. It actually like changes the shape of your mouth. It makes your mouth rounder. It still has really great acidity, but Alsatian Pinot Gris is not meant to be a super high acid wine. This is not super zesty. This is not tangy. This is not gonna like make your mouth water a ton, but it's all about balance. There is plenty of acidity to kind of balance the richness of this wine without making the wine seem like overly tart, or without having enough acidity for the wine to seem kind of flat and heavy. There's a little less of the fruit component that is apparent on the palate. It's a little bit more kind of stony mineral, flinty, chalky, smoky, earthy, like all of these really kind of savory things that you get on the palate, versus the fruit is kind of like up here and in your aromatic center when you're actually tasting. The little bit of, like I said, smoky, it's almost like a cap gun is what it like, has that kind of smell to it. But that character is going to work really well if you are doing anything that has like a little bit of bitterness to it. So things like chicory or endive or radicchio, if you grill, you'll kind of bring out some of the natural sweetness in there, and you'll add this subtle char to them. You can do things like lentils or chickpeas, noodles, anything that's got some chew to it, and it has that nuttiness and that kind of savory umami complexity to it. You can do a little bit of fattiness to this too. Classic Alsatian cuisine is things like sausages and charcroute and pork belly. So doing even things like chashu, pork, like pork belly for ramen, where you have all of these savory umami things. You get a little bit of soy, you get a little bit of kombu, you get the noodles, you get, I think I just want ramen. There's so much going on here, and there's not every wine, but there are definitely a good number of wines that I recommend, whites that will benefit from decanting. This is one of them. This is a wine that will really benefit from a little bit of additional air. It is 2019, which is 4 years old at this point. I know that's hard to believe, but this is gonna need a little bit of time to open up. So if you're planning to have it for dinner, open it up like an hour before you have dinner. Pour yourself a little bit to taste and see where it is. You can put it into a decanter, splash it around. If you want to, you can put it back into the bottle after it's in the decanter, because just that infusion of oxygen is going to do the work of actually helping to wake the wine up. And you don't want it to get too warm either. So don't leave it out of the fridge if you're going to open it and decant it. Do that, and then you can put it back in the fridge and take it out 20 minutes before you're actually ready to have dinner. But even just that little bit of preparation is going to help this wine kind of show more of its aromatic complexity and expression. That's delicious. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. I'm really excited to share the wines of Josmeyer with everybody. I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next time.